Hey there friends, I'm Andrew from the Scrapbox and I don't like crabs. They scare me. I don't know if it's because they're greedy, or if it's because they sing my least favorite Moana songs, or if it's because evolution suggests that most things will turn into crabs. We all become crabs in the end. But whatever the case may be, I don't like them. But if you pardon my crabby behavior, pun intended, we're gonna make a giant crab today. Let's begin. You see, I have a friend who's coming over for the first time, and they love Lego, so the first thing they're gonna ask is, where is it?
I would like to see the Lego.
And unfortunately, my office has the Lego City on display. And in this video, I accidentally destroyed the entire Lego City.
Got better.
I think if I can get the beachfront done, that'll be enough. But since I can't do anything normally, I think the very front, the bottom of the ocean's gonna have a giant crab, perfectly camouflaged in the sand, ready to pop up and eat any unsuspecting victim. Yeah, so not only am I gonna have to make a giant crab, but it's gonna have to look like a giant crab, and then when it's curled up, look nothing like a giant crab. That'll be easy, I said, lying to myself. Now the first thing I have to do is clean off all the random junk I put on this nice empty beachfront area, and that's because whenever there's a flat empty surface, I think, I'm not gonna put my items away, I'll just put them here. But now that we've got most of it cleaned off, we can take a look, and our crab is gonna go on this plate. As you can tell, I'm a very tidy person, and so we're gonna use this work area to build the legs. Now I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought crabs only had 6 legs, but they have 8. And claws. And honestly, I think that's a bit unfair. I mean, slugs have to go around with no legs because crabs are hoarding them all. Actually, on second thought, keep your legs, crab. But it's gonna make it difficult for me to be able to fold them all nicely underneath you. Normally, I'd go for as strong a joint as possible for these legs, but there's no room for these ones, so we're gonna use small hinges and ball joints and just cross our fingers that 8 weaker joints will be able to hold up one singular crab. Kinda like how enough eggs can support the weight of a whole human, or something sciencey like that. As soon as I switch these pieces, we'll have the right number of legs we need for our crab. But it seems I inadvertently made the thing that floats outside my window at night, whispering dark truths about the universe. Not now, Jerry, I'm busy. If we leave the legs as they are, the crab's gonna take up nearly the whole base plate, and that's too big. But if we could somehow double up the legs, then it'd take up a much smaller surface area. So I created this prototype, which seems to work. Then whittled it down to this, which folds up really nicely, and then I took that, made it into this, and finally this, which ends the leg segment of the show. I'm gonna have to put a head on these legs so we're not out here fighting mannequins, which is a reference only the cool kids would know.
Nope.
I was able to come up with this simple base. It covers all of the back legs, these 2x2s connect to the legs via Technic pin, and the claw arms will go approximately here. To make the top of the crab, I must visit the drawer of curves. I keep the normal curves and arches in these regular drawers, but the weird and unconventional curves are put in here. It's got tons of random pieces and discs and rings, and it turns out none of them were really helpful. I want the top of him to look like sand so he blends in, and the best I could find were these dark tan pieces, so turns out we're gonna have to go another route. A lot of crabs have sharp points around their shells, so I'm gonna use these teeth pieces to mimic them. I use different size ones at different places to help vary the pattern a little bit. A lack of curves means I have to use regular slopes, but we make do. I got more spikes for the sides, and then we're gonna use these weird brackets for the face. Well, I don't even know how to start with this crab mouth, but we're gonna do the best we can. It feels wrong just looking at it. This 1x2 tile will represent the deep abyss within, and then I'll add a plate so I could add more teeth pieces facing down. Frankly, this is just guesswork at this point, but with a couple extra pieces and 2 hot dogs, I think we can make a pretty decent crab face. Now I just have to make some
Big, meaty claws!
I tried to beef up the arms as much as I could, and honestly, I spent about 2 hours just on the claws. This is the best it could come up with, and it's not great. It doesn't really shroud the orange legs underneath, which is pivotal for this crab, but for now, we'll call it done. Not bad overall. We did it. We made the crustacean from hell. But now we gotta fashion them a hiding spot. Because while they do look like a mound of sand, I think it'd be better for them to be cocooned?
Words are so difficult.
I want to see them perfectly camouflaged with their surroundings. And so, let's make the environment. We're going to set them up here, right in the front. Ideally, with our crab in the center, we would construct the rest of the seafloor around it, as if it had burrowed a little crater for itself that it could take a nap in, or stalk its prey. And you just pluck it out when you want to use it. Then it'd be surrounded by the cliff's end, some rocks to match the claws, and a bunch of plants all over the place. Maybe even some on the crab itself to help it blend in. I usually make an offshoot of Mills plates, which use Technic bricks so I could put wiring in there as well as Technic pins. With the way the bottom legs fold, it leaves a perfect 2x2 area for these slopes to hold it in place. With my makeshift Mills plate complete, you can see that he's digging himself a little crater to sit in. I'm trying to match the rapid incline from this piece over here, which is kind of the only way you could get a beach at this point, but honestly, I'm not impressed with those claws and their inability to hide that orange. But just as one would put lipstick on a pig, maybe this ivy will help this poor unfortunate crab, or maybe some coral can distract from it. Hold on, this actually isn't looking half bad. Oh, thank goodness you guys, I fixed it. Look at his claws, I thickened them, and now they look great. No more orange seeps through. Thank goodness, I thought this whole thing was going to be a failure. I am adding some extra plants onto this crab, lopsided so it doesn't seem so symmetrical. Unfortunately, you and I are both now burdened with the knowledge that there is a giant crab here, but I don't think if you showed any random person this, that they'd think, yeah, that's a giant crab in the sand, but we know. We see its inky stalks and we know. Anyways, good enough for me. Also, I did make sure it still comes out very nicely, it still splays, it still poses, everything's good. I'll make the cliffside some other time. Anyways, not bad for a one-day build. Unfortunately, I do have the entire rest of the beachfront to go, so you'll probably see more of that in the future. Anyways, I've been Andrew, you've been watching the Scrapbox. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment of what you want to see next. This was a weird one. So, put a weird one down. Alright, I've got to go edit this thing, so bye! Oh, have a good one. Yeah, okay, bye. Why would a horse and a knight be underwater? That doesn't make any sense. It's to be the crab's lunch. That's why they're there.